Hello. I am just now getting back from the movies with family, seeing The Color Purple. And you'll have to excuse me. It's a little rainy, misty here, you know. But you can always, if you want to see what I originally look like, you can always visit my ooh, I'm tired, child. The Instagram account. Anyway, still cute, still fly. I wanted to come and talk to you guys about my thoughts on The Color Purple. There were a few things that I felt like should have been kept in the movie. First of all, I just want to say I am not the musical type. This was a family oriented event. Me personally, I could do without musicals. I understand that they were trying to do something different. So, but the singing just got next to me. So that's number one. Number two, another thing you should know about me, since I'm also not a musical person, I'm also not a person who likes the jargon that was used back in the day in slave movies. And, when people are trying to demonstrate old times, I know that that's how people talk with the whole yes, a boss, massa, mister, and all that stuff. I can't stand it because it just takes me back. And it's not our fault as people. And I'm not even trying to emphasize any educational anything because Black people have come a long way. But the conversation just irks me because I don't know. I guess I'm just always triggered when it comes to old time movies and how we're portrayed, even if there is truth to it. Obviously, we know there is, particularly in slave movies. So, with that being said, I'm more of a person. I grew up in the 90s. I was rather young, but still, I appreciated the movies with the Morris Chestnuts, with the aspect of celebrating Black wellness, Black education, Black wealth, all those things. Um, I guess because I want more for our people, and in a perfect world, we would have more success, but we're still trying to break barriers. It sends me when I have to think about the oppression and the way people talked in the movies, but then also to emphasize the past, that is. But then also, in a perfect world, which it will never get, it is nice to see the emphasis of, the brown sugar movies from back in the day, you know, what is it, Brothers? Y'all remember back in the 90s when they had those movies. Even what is it, when people had poetry movies and all that, they discussed, education of Black people, and they emphasized us in a different light. Bye, daddy. so so therefore, I say all that to say my opinion on The Color Purple is going to be a little bit more biased. Come here, darling. Now I'm trying to keep my dog from getting ran over while I give you a review. My opinion is going to be more biased because of my taste on movies, my thought process, and what I like and who I am as an individual. And I just want us, I don't know. And then when it comes to classics, sometimes I just feel like if you're not going to do it right, you have to leave well enough alone. With that being said, I know that the musical is the musical, but I really wish it was the story either remade with, I guess, having like a younger generation and the older generation come together, almost like a sequel, or I wish they just would have remade it just like a movie instead of a musical. It drives me up the wall. The singing drove me nuts. Suge Avery's key song, God is Trying to Tell You Something, was pivotal, in my opinion, in the movie. Now, I understand Taraji did her thing. She is not known for singing, so maybe they didn't want this big da-da. But then the original lady who played Suge Avery, which I believe, I can't call her name. Excuse me, I have like fur. But I believe her name, not her name, she was the lady who was the mother to Mary Jane. If you watch the show Mary Jane, I love that show. There's some truth to it. Not in every aspect, but And then she's been in several other things. I believe she was the one who played Sugar Avery, the original one. I just personally feel like that song should have been kept in the movie. What's some other things that my mom and I were talking about. Went to see it with my mom, and my niece, and some more family members that blessed us. So that's really awesome. I feel like I don't know, I feel like the instance where we have Suge Avery not allowing Seeley to get in the car with her the first time to go. In the first movie, Seeley chose to stay behind, which to me emphasized Stockholm syndrome. We didn't know what it was called back then in the 80s, and I was personally born in the 80s. But the fact that Seeley, was wanting to go, but Suge Avery's like, "Oh, I'll be back." That was interesting. I feel like in the new movie with Suge Avery and you being able to see her house, I guess they were trying to emphasize Suge Avery's success. That was interesting in itself. I don't know how I felt about that, but okay. Suge took not only Celie in, but the other girl who was, I guess, dating Sophia's husband. I can't call his name. Forgive me for not knowing all the character names. So that to me was interesting. And I think in the end, when they had Celie's sister come and they were coming from Africa and everybody was sitting down at the table with a big picnic, like all is well. I don't know how I felt about that, because I'm totally here for Mr. getting the payback and Celie kind of placing that little get your child on him, the curse, so to speak. And so now that she's sitting back with her abuser, I mean, I get, black people are known for forgiveness, but that kind of disgusted me a little bit. I was like, okay, but I get it. The positive points is I do feel like it was nice that Mr. did sell some of his land to get her family back. Um, but it made her seem like she still had to rely on him in a sense without knowing. So mixed feelings about that one. I will say Nettie, when the man was trying to come in there and mess with her, even though he was married to Celie, and he kind of threw her off the property, you know, I don't know. And he was pointing the gun at Celie and Nettie. That, was an interesting take, but I didn't mind that as much. I'm trying to see if I can emphasize some positivities. What else about the new movie that could have been positive? Girl, I don't know. It just wasn't that great to me. If I had to say what scoring I would give this movie, it would have to be maybe a 5 out of 10. The cast was good. My heart goes out to Taraji because she was the biggest star in this, but she's talking about and equal opportunities and pay. I'm hoping she gets paid well, especially from the dividends of the movie, because I know black people have showed up in droves to see this movie from Christmas weekend. Well, when it come out on Christmas, so from Christmas moving forward, people are still kind of packing out the theater. But I don't know. I feel like remaking it into a musical could have been left alone. I feel like, oh, y'all, Celie in this movie, she got the store and the house. In the old movie, she only got the store. And there was an emphasis on her mother in this movie versus we didn't know what was going on with the mama in the first movie. So Celie being shown, we get the backstory of how she was shown how to sew by her mom. I think that was a positive. I kind of appreciated that little bit of insight and her mama showing up. Plus the one who was playing the mom to Celie. I like her as an actress as well. Can't call her name, but she's still good. I feel like if you're going to do all that singing, Fantasia had her highlights, but I feel like her voice and the power in it wasn't emphasized to the end. And I'm just like, she's like the primary person who's known for singing in this movie, right? Other than her and Sierra at the end. And who else is considered a songstress? Tamala Mann is in the movie, y'all. So other than Tamala Mann, who would be the next strongest singer in the movie, I feel like Fantasia was that girl. And, she had her moments, but she just didn't really sing down, sing down. I will say, if you are a person who can appreciate the emphasis on relationships in certain lights, they do emphasize more of Celie and Suge Avery's relationship. It was taboo to show bisexuality and gay relationships back in the day. So that for that community was emphasized more and shown, and people weren't trying to hide really what was going on. And another positive thing, I will say, the fact that they explained the what we thought was incest in the first movie, because Celie's daddy was messing with her. I do feel like to find out in this movie that it was actually Celie's stepdaddy, that's not really bringing comfort to the situation. But it's like, okay, this man was just trying to take advantage of the mother all the way around, because he stole the store. The mama died, her daddy died. So he was messing with Celie and got her pregnant twice, and then turned around and wanted to mess with the young girl. So he was just a trash, stank person all around. But I think that explaining that this is not somebody who really cared about her or was related to her and was really taking advantage of her family, and then to kind of bring it full circle, like Celie got everything back that was stolen from her and her family, from the store to getting her childhood home back, to, of course, in the end, we all know her kids and her sister coming back was a full circle ordeal. Uh, I do wish that they would have shown more, like in the first movie, they emphasized certain more parts about her sister living in Africa and, getting an education or whatnot. They did when Celie was reading the letters, that was like pivotal points where, each letter they would show a scene of what's going on and seeing the sister grow up and all this kind of stuff, and how Celie's kids connected with her. I will say in the second movie, they did show parts. Um, but like I said, they all had to come back in some kind of way, rely, even though they weren't aware, rely on Mister for help. So, okay then, like I said, I give it a 5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 because of the stars. I love Taraji, I wish her well. I just, when she said in one of her interviews that she was tired, I get it. I'm tired too. You know, 2023 is almost gone, 2024, and Black people are still having to break down barriers for not just ourselves, but whenever we break down something, it opens the door for other races as well, whether you want to admit it or not. So I just feel like, you know, we're still talking about equal pay. We're still talking about how Black women are slighted in the industry. Even if it's by our own people, we're still talking about trying to make it, even though we're at different tier levels. That just cooks my goat. The constant fight. You know what I mean? And I will say, what was it? I will say, for movies that are back in the day and they emphasize Black struggle and what we go through, I do love the fact that you get reminded how we're constantly having to remind ourselves of pushing through, standing up, especially from this femininity point that's emphasized in the movie, standing up to men that don't appreciate you, standing up to people who are racist and want to put you in their place. I like that. I think I actually might give it a 6 out of 10 for that, now that I'm thinking about it, because I feel like the emphasizing of standing up for yourself, you know, is amazing, especially from a Black female perspective, Black woman perspective. So, yeah, go see it, go support it. There were people who were crying in the theater. There were people who, were laughing and talking to the movies. You know how we do. But it did not move me as much. But like I said, Color Purple is one of those things where I enjoyed the first one when I got old enough to see it. I was one in those households where I was not allowed to view certain things. I think that's good for children to keep their innocence. But It's not one of my favorite back in the day older movies, but it needs movies like this need to be done. We need to constantly remind people. We need to talk about things that are kind of swept up under the rug in our community, as well as things that hinder our community outside of us. And I think the remake of Color Purple was well overdue. So go see it, go support it. Tell me what you think in the comments. Deuces, y'all. Enjoy the rest of 2023. It's almost gone.